We're going to do some factoring review today, and this is going to be part 2. I've already done a video regarding the multiplication and factoring of perfect squares and the difference of two squares. So right now we're going to do basic factoring, but we're going to show you two different ways. So I'm going to start with just a basic problem. X squared minus x minus 42. This is when the a is a value of 1. So what I want to do is I'm going to come down and start with two sets of parentheses. Remember, we're working in reverse of FOIL. Alright, if you keep that in mind, that will help you do more of this in your head and less with side work. So the square root of that is going to be x times x, because the first things make that. I have a 1 right here, so I know that there's a couple different combinations to get me to 42, but I need them to add to 1. So I know that 7 and 6, if I were to just subtract them right now, would be 1. But because this is negative, I need this. And then x times x is x squared. Negative 7 minus 6, or negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. 6 times negative 7 is negative 42. So I'm finished. Sometimes that's hard to see. So what you maybe want to do is make a little guy over here. I need to multiply to negative 42, so I'm going to write multiply to negative 42. I need to add to a negative 1. This is going to be the c value, a, b, c. And this is going to be my b value, a, b. So I could say 2 times negative 21. That makes that, but it doesn't add to negative 1. I could say negative 6 and 7. That multiplies here, but it adds to a positive 1. Negative 7 plus 6 meets my requirements. Then I'm going to drop those in those positions. It's okay if you have to use this, but remember, as your math gets harder and you have to do more and more factoring, we want to be able to start doing some of this in our head. Otherwise, you're going to take a lot of time doing work. Another example of an a of 1, y squared plus 10y plus 24. So, same situation, y times y. 2 and 12 make 24, multiply together, but they don't add to 10. But 6 times 4 will also add to 10. They're both pluses. I'm done. Again, you can do this over here. I'm multiplying to 24. I'm adding to a positive 10. 2 times 12, 24, but doesn't add to 10. 1 and 24 multiplies to 24, does not add to 10. 6 and 4 multiplies to 24, it does add to 10. 6, 4. Those are when a is 1, and those are very straightforward problems. But now we're going to step up a little bit further, and we're going to try this guy. 2y squared minus 7y minus 15. Alright, step 1 is always, is there a GCF? So what you want to do is, if there is any GCF, we need to divide him out. Well, 2, 7, and 15 are not common factors of each other, so there's no GCF. Now for me, I do this portion in my head. So I come down and I say 2y times y. The factors are 5 and 3, and I need to put them in the positions to get me close to 7. But I'm going to have to subtract to get a negative. So 3 times 2 is 6. If I'm subtracting a 5 here, that gets me 1. If I do 5 times 2, I get 10. Subtract a 3, I get 7. So I'm going to put a 5 and a 3. I need it to be negative. I'm done. 2y squared, negative 10, plus 3, negative 7, negative 15. That's my final answer. But for some of you, that's very difficult to see. I'd like you to be able to get there, but we're going to need to do maybe a different route. So what we want to do is slip and slide, or slide and glide. I'm never sure how to call that. So we're going to have 2y squared minus 7y minus 15. You are going to multiply the 2 times the 15. I'm going to have y squared minus 7y minus 30. I need to multiply to a negative 30, and I need to add to a negative 7. So I'm thinking in my head 6 and 5 doesn't add. 2 and 15 doesn't add. 3 and 10 could work. Negative and negative, I'm going to put a negative on that guy. That works. So I'm going to have y minus 10 and y plus 3. A lot of students decide to stop there. You can't stop. Y times y is not 2y squared. So now, because I multiply by 2 here, I'm going to have to divide my 2 out. So y minus 5. Because this is not a whole number, I'm going to pull that 2 up, so I have 2y plus 3. If you notice, this is the exact same answer that we just got. Difference is a lot more work. And that is okay. But you need to make sure that you're going towards this, so we're not always working on extra 5 or 6 lines of work. Let's do this again. So example 4. On example 4, I'm going to do 3b squared plus 5b plus 2. So in my head, 3b, b. If I put a 2 here, 2 times 3 is 6, I'm already over that 5. So I'm going to put the plus 1 here and the plus 2 here. 3b squared, 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 times 1 is 2. I'm done. Again, if you are not going to want to do that yet, that's okay. So I'm going to have 3b squared plus 5b plus 2. I'm going to multiply b squared plus 5b plus 6. I need to multiply to 6 and add to 5. If you need to do it, little man over here, that is okay. Feel free. b times b is b squared. The 6 is going to be a positive 3 and a positive 2. Problem, b times b is not 3b squared. So I need to divide by 3 to both of those. Doesn't divide in, so I'm going to have 3b plus 2 and b plus 1. Same answer as above. A few more lines of work. That's okay. Alright? Just be careful. Now I'm going to do a little bit more complicated one. And usually you're not going to see these on tests, but you never quite know. 4y to the 6th minus 17y to the 3rd minus 15. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure either right now. I can do a lot of stuff in my head, but I don't want to spend all the time doing it. So in this case, this is a pretty reasonable way to go, so I'm not wasting time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply those two guys. So I have y to the 6th minus 17y to the 3rd minus 60. Let me just double check. I'm getting hungry as I do this video. I don't want to mess up my math. Okay. I need to multiply to 60, negative 60, and I need to add to a negative 17. 3 and 20 will not get me there. 1 and 60 don't get me there. 2 and 30 don't get me there. 5 and 12 I believe do get me there to 60. Can add that up. Problem though is I need a negative out here and a negative in here. So I may need to back it up. Oh, and I actually missed it right up here because I wasn't paying attention, just like you may have happened. So I'm going to do this again. Negative 60 and negative 17. So I'm going to do negative 20 and 3. Now I wasn't worried about the negatives over here because usually I'll add those in, but I got sloppy and I ran right over the guy I needed. So negative 20 times 3 is negative 60. Add it together is negative 17. We're going to use that. Y to the third. Y to the third. Remember your rules on exponents. Minus 20 plus 3. Don't forget we multiplied by 4, so I'm going to divide out by 4 now. So I have 4y cubed plus 3, y cubed minus 5. Let me check. 4y to the 6th, 3 and negative 20, negative 17. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And that is my final answer. Hopefully this has been a helpful factoring review with different methods to get you through. Best of luck.